Town, he is a man of great renown. He never comes out till the sun goes down. Paddy Doyle the poacher. Well, the local squire is going mad. A peaceful life he's never had. He can only blame one lad, Paddy Doyle the poacher. For snaring rabbits, gaffing salmon, stealing chickens, he's your man. Shooting deer and pheasants too, there's no better in Ireland. Well, a poacher's life is lots of fun. The girls they love him, everyone. He lives on his wits and he sells shotgun. Paddy Doyle the poacher. Well, the squire's age is 95 and nobody knows how he stays alive. He gets all his exercise chasing Doyle the poacher. For snaring rabbits, gaffing salmon, stealing chickens, he's your man. Shooting deer and pheasants too, there's no better in Ireland. Well, he seeks him here and he seeks him there. The squire seeks him everywhere. He's fly as a fox, fast as a hare. Paddy Doyle the poacher.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So this video I'm going to be talking about animals for self-reliance or self-sufficiency, whichever you want to call it. So I was on YouTube the other day, and I don't know about you guys, but I love watching bushcraft, self-reliance videos. There's some great channels out there. One of the videos I watched, I can't remember which video it was now, but there was a guy out doing his bushcraft bits, you know, making camp, making fire. He had his dog out with him, and there was a guy in the comments who commented saying, what would you guys say would be a good dog for bushcraft or self-reliance? So I thought I'd have a look on YouTube to see if there were any videos on it, because it's not really spoken about. You know, most people will speak about, you know, like firearms and what you'd carry in the woods, knives, blah blah blah. But I always see plenty of these guys always going out into the woods and they take their dog with them. So yeah, I thought, you know, because back in history, you know, we were much more reliant on dogs than we are today. So I thought I'd have a look, and the majority of the videos I found about dogs for self-reliance were geared more towards your protection sort of breed of dogs. So there was a lot of like Dobermans, Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Malleys, stuff like that, and all geared towards the ends of these dogs are going to protect you from this situation, that situation, whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to make a video on my thoughts on this. So if I was to have a dog for self-reliance, now when I say self-reliance, I don't mean like you're living out in the woods, you're bushcrafting, because very, very few people live like that. And these videos are more geared towards, if you need to live like that, you know, show you these skills. But I can't see a time where we're ever going to go back in time and have to live like that. So when I say self-reliance, I mean using a dog for like modern day self-reliance. When I say modern day self-reliance, self-sufficiency, I mean helping to put food on your table. So the dog that I would choose would be some sort of running dog, some sort of lurcher. And the reason why I say that over any other dog is because a lurcher is actively going to catch you meat. Not only for you, but for itself. Now I know from experience that my own dog, when I work the dog, if I go out for a night's lambing, or even if I'm just walking him, there's a high chance, just by walking, there's a high chance that if he's running loose, he's going to catch something. Now, I've seen lurchers catch pheasants, catch partridges, rabbits, hares, deer. You know, I'm not saying go out and actively go for hares and deer, because in the UK, obviously with the Hunting Act. But if it was a choice of not eating or catching something like that, you're going to do that. You're going to catch that. So where I am, I know, and if you look back through some of my videos, especially my shorts, you'll see that where I am, we're absolutely riddled, and I mean riddled with muntjac. So for anyone that don't know, muntjac are a real small species of deer. They're invasive to the UK. They're real small species of deer. They're probably, you know, the biggest one is probably like the size of a Labrador. You know, if I wanted to use my dog to feed me, I could go out every single day and catch like 2 of those things. They're not hard to catch, you know, they're pretty, especially at night. I would, easy peasy. So, you know, the reason I say a lurcher is, you know, obviously I work lurchers, so I've got a passion for these dogs. But if you look back through history, so if you look back like towards like even like as far back as like medieval Europe, they used some sort of sight hound or dog to catch food. But this was mainly like the gentry used to do this. Like this wasn't like a common man thing, because back then there was actually a law passed that no common man could keep ferrets or lurchers. That was an actual law. But then if we move forward and you look at, say, a good example is to look at the gypsies, the people, gypsy people, Romany gypsies or travellers or whatever you want to call them. If you look back, the majority of the time, what you would see those people keep would be a lurcher, because lurchers are what are described as pot fillers. You can take them out and they will regularly catch you a meal. You know, people used to use these dogs and live off them, and they'd feed themselves. So I know personally, if I go out with a dog, I could go out for a night's lamping or whatever. If I catch half a dozen or a dozen rabbits, you know, I can feed myself and my dog. My dog eats raw food. So, you know, if you're feeding your dog raw, they only need like 3 to 5% of their body weight a day in raw meat. That's not really that much. So, you know, for a self-reliant situation, that dog is easily going to feed you and himself or herself, whatever, on what he can catch. So yeah, and also if you were to add ferrets into that equation, I know like a lot of you are going to say, oh yeah, but in the woods you can't take ferrets with you, blah blah blah, if you're living out there. You know, again, I'm not talking about specifically living out in the woods like as a full-time thing. I'm talking about, like, as an example, I'll give you this as an example. So in the UK at the moment, we are going through a massive problem of, we have a real high living rate. So the cost of living has just gone sky high. So that's everything. That's fuel, gas and electric. You know, the wages don't reflect this either. So the cost of living has gone up. Food even, you know, like meat is expensive now. It's crazy expensive. So, you know, to supplement what you have to pay out, if you can use a dog or your ferrets to supplement that, then, you know, that's great. To me, that's self-sufficiency or self-reliance. You know, I'm not saying you have to be fully self-sufficient, but anything that can help you in your situation to eat, you know, or to eat for nothing, or for your animals to be fed, in my mind, that's a form of self-sufficiency. So yeah, you know, I really think these things, if you had a lurcher and you had a couple of ferrets, you're pretty good. You know, you're not going to starve, they're not going to starve. And like I say, I know that from my own experience from working ferrets and lurchers, during the winter months when I'm, you know, out sort of twice a week, 2-3 times a week, they pretty much feed themselves. I don't really have to buy them food. Like, my dog's on raw, the majority of what he eats would be rabbit during the season. The ferrets will eat rabbits during the season. It pretty much costs me nothing to feed them, apart from the odd bit that I add to like the dog's food, like eggs, bit of fresh veg, stuff like that, you know, but that's pretty cheap. So yeah, I don't really feel like dogs have been covered, or what I would say animals have been covered properly, because we always, or the majority of people tend to go for, you know, a dog that can protect them, whereas I don't really see the point, or see, you know, I understand the point of a protection dog, and I know people who keep protection dogs for security work and stuff like that, and they can be useful. But if you're talking about like these videos where people are saying, you know, if shit hits the fan and they want a protection dog, well, at the end of the day, you know, I understand that dog is, you know, some of these protection dogs are pretty strong, but it's not that hard to kill a dog, to be honest. Like, you're going to kill that dog. If you've got any sort of weapon on you, you're going to kill it. But yeah, you know, I'm more sort of thinking of a dog that's actually going to be really useful to you. Like, if say you had to go out, or, you know, rely on a dog to feed you, those protection dogs are going to be rubbish, you know, apart from, unless you want to eat the people that they've, you know, they're taken down. You know, if you took those dogs out into a place where you had to, say you did have to go out and sort of survive in the wild or whatever, or live how the gypsies used to live, sort of hand to mouth sort of thing, those protection dogs are going to be next to useless, because you've got to provide for them, you've got to feed them really. Whereas the type of dogs I'm talking about, or the animals with the ferrets and the lurcher, you know, they feed themselves, they're low maintenance, they feed themselves and you. You know, and most of them, like, you know, ferrets and lurchers, they're pretty hardy dogs as well. They're pretty hardy animals, you know. They're not going to freeze, they're not going to, you know, unless you get a thin-skinned running dog, which some of them are, you know. But if you look back, most of these dogs have real thick, heavy coats on them, or wire head coats, good coats, you know, that are going to protect them from the elements. But yeah, in my mind, I can't really see much use to these protection dogs if you're going to use them for bushcraft or self-reliance, because yeah, they're going to protect what you have, but they're not going to bring anything into that lurcher would, you know. They're going to bring you a source of food. And yeah, like I say, there's a wide range of things they could take. They can take small game, and if needs be, they can take big game as well. And in the UK, we don't have the same sort of, let's say, freedom that you do in the US. Obviously, I know in the US you have, and I don't know if it's like this in other countries either, but you have vast areas of public land that you can go out and hunt. Anyone can hunt them. You know, you can go out with a rifle and a shotgun, and yeah, you can do what you want, or you can put traps down. In the UK, this is different. We can't roam wherever we want. You know, a lot of ground is private. Even though there's public areas, public footpaths and stuff that we can walk, you can't just take a firearm or a gun out wherever you want and start, you know, blasting away at stuff. It's just, you know, you'd be in trouble. But from the perspective of animals in self-reliance or self-sufficiency, you know, if you didn't have permission somewhere, you know, it's very easy to go on somewhere with ferrets and nets or a lurcher and have a walk. You know, nobody's going to blink an eye at somebody that's having a dog walk, you know. And if you do get caught or seen, you know, you can sort of make your excuses, say, oh, sorry, I didn't realise I wasn't meant to be here, blah, 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 you know. I'm not condoning that, I'm not saying go out and do that, but I'm saying that's, you know, that's an option. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that subject, really. I didn't really want to make this video too long, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what I'd seen on YouTube and my thoughts on that. So, which really brings me to the next video. You know, as I said, back in the day, ferrets and dogs were relied on heavily. So that's my next video. What my next video is going to be. It's going to be a history of ferreting and of rabbiting, and I think a lot of you are going to be surprised how far back this actually goes. It's really interesting. It was interesting to me, and I hope it's going to be interesting to you guys. So yeah, I just want to thank all you guys for watching the videos and for subscribing. You know, the channel's gone crazy on subscribers recently, which is great. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you're new, subscribe. There's plenty more to come. And yeah, what I want you to do is, once you watch this video, go down to the comment section and comment on what dog or what animal do you think would be great for like a self-reliance, self-sufficiency type scenario. And if you were to choose a dog or whatever, what one would you choose? What would you pick and why? So yeah, I think this is an interesting subject to talk about. So cheers guys.